Hey everyone, got another modding video to show you guys. This is my Squier Affinity Telecaster Deluxe. I've had this guitar for a couple of years now. I think it looks really cool. I love this burgundy mist finish. It plays real nice. But I did buy this with the intention of using it as a mod platform. So far I really haven't done much to it other than I changed out the tuners. I don't really care much for those vintage split shaft tuners, so I changed out the tuners with some solid shaft tuners. But I do think it is time to do some more modifications to the guitar. So I'm actually in the process of building a loaded pickguard for it. As you can see, I have all the parts loaded into it. I just need to wire it up. Other than obviously the changing color of the pickguard and material, I am changing out the pickups, obviously. These are a set of humbucker size P90s. I found these on Temu for real cheap. I think they were like 15 bucks. If you watched my video where I mod my Kramer Focus, in that video I put a set of Invader style humbuckers that I found on Temu for like 11 bucks. And I was really surprised with them. I thought they sounded really nice. I saw these, I figured what the heck, these would probably go good in my Tele Deluxe, so I'll give these a shot. And then while I build these pick guards, I always like to do a couple of created wiring mods to them. One of the things I'm going to do is with the volume controls, I'm going to actually wire them up as independent volume control. So most guitars with this control layout, you know, with the dual volume, like a Tele Deluxe or Les Paul or SG, they're actually usually wired up with dependent volume control. What that means is if your pickup selector's in the middle position, it doesn't matter which volume knob you use. They'll both basically control volume for the whole guitar. With independent volume control, they still will only control the volume for their respective pickup. So in the middle position, you can actually use your volume knobs more like kind of like blend knobs as opposed to actual volume knobs. And then we also have, instead of doing a dual tone knobs, I'm going to do a master tone, and then I'm actually going to wire up the other one as a contour knob. So basically I'll be able to roll off the treble with the tone knob and then roll off the bass with the contour knob, kind of like having two band EQ on the guitar. Referencing my Kramer video again, I actually put a contour knob in that, and I mentioned in that video at first I was kind of underwhelmed by it, but as I played with it more and messed around with it more, I actually grew to really like it. So I'm actually going to put one in this guitar, and I am going to use a different capacitor. From what I've read, if you go with a capacitor that has less capacitance, then you'll actually be able to roll off more of your bass. So in my Kramer, I put a 0.002 microfarad capacitor. I'm actually going to try a 0.001 microfarad capacitor in this one. See if I like that better. If I do like it better, I may end up putting that in the Kramer also. And then these also are push pots also in here. So I'm going to do a couple of additional wiring mods to add a couple extra tonal capabilities. I'm going to wire one up as a series parallel switch, so that way, no matter what position my pickup selector will be in, I'll be able to press that switch, and then I'll get both pickups in series with each other. So what that does, they'll basically kind of act like a humbucker. So, you know, I'll still be able to get a little bit of that humbucker sound when I need it. And then the other one I'm going to do is a phase switch on the, I'm going to wire up a phase switch to the neck pickup. Basically just because I like that out of phase tone. I like messing around with that. It's, I think it has its place. So that's what I'm going to do with this one here. I'll go ahead and I'll give you some tones, on the guitar so you kind of know what it sounds like before I mod it. I'll just do clean tones. I mean, that's really where you notice the most difference. So here is the bridge pickup. Alright, and then here's the middle position with both pickups. And in both pickups, traditionally they're parallel with each other. like I said, this actually has dependent volume control, so it doesn't matter which volume knob I use. It lowers the volume for the whole guitar with either volume knob, whereas an independent volume controls, it'll still only lower the volume for the respective pickups, so they act kind of more like blend knobs. All right, and then here is the neck pickup. All right, so there you have it. I'll go ahead and I'll wire up that pick guard, throw it in the guitar, and then I'll be back so we can see how that sounds. All right, so I got the new pick guard all put together, wired up and everything. I'm getting good signal on all the switch positions, so it looks like everything does appear to be working as it should. One thing I did find is this notch here where the bridge goes. I probably will have to cut about 1/8 of an inch on each side, a little bit wider, to get it to fit around the bridge on the guitar. But other than that, it looks like everything will fit pretty well. Looks like all the holes line up pretty well, so I won't have to plug the old holes and drill new ones. As you can see, I have the guitar all apart and everything, so just need to solder the bridge ground onto this one here, onto this pick guard, and then connect the output jack, and then basically just slap this pick guard on and string it back up, and then I'll be back to show you how it sounds. All right, so I got this new pick guard installed. I know I say this in every modding video I do, but yeah, I could not be happier with this guitar. I think it just looks awesome now, and I'm really happy with these mods I put in. I think it's just an overall great guitar now. Not that it was a bad guitar before. It was a great guitar before, but it's better now. To go over again what I did with this guitar here, obviously we have the new pick guard with the tortoise shell. We have obviously we have the humbucker size P90s. They're just cheap unbranded pickups I got on Temu. They sound really good though. I'm really impressed with them once again. A full upgrade on the switch and the pots. The volume controls are wired up as independent volume control. I wired up a master tone and a contour knob instead of dual tone, and then we have the phase switch and also the series parallel switch. A couple things I ran into while doing these mods. I know I mentioned in the last segment how I had to open up the notch for the bridge in the pick guard. That's just something you kind of run into when swapping pick guards on a guitar like this. These pick guards are usually made to be like direct fender replacements, and for whatever reason the Squier bridges are a little bit wider. At least the Squier hardtail bridges seem to be a little bit wider. And then I know I also mentioned that that it looked like the holes would probably line up. I was actually incorrect on that. Once I was able to get the pick guard to lay flat properly on the guitar, I did find that none of the holes actually lined up, so I did have to plug the old holes and drill new ones. Again, not a big deal, and that is just something you kind of anticipate you may have to do when you replace a pick guard on a guitar like this. And then one other thing I kind of ran into, it kind of made me laugh a little bit. So these one of the pitfalls of buying cheap unbranded pickups on a site like Temu is there's probably not much for quality control, and they don't. The pickups themselves sound great. I had no trouble getting them to work or anything, but they don't really come with any sort of wiring diagram. So you just kind of wire them up how you would intuitively wire up a pickup. So these pickups come with two wires coming off of them. One's a bare wire and the other is an insulated wire. So intuitively you would connect your bare wire to ground, and the insulated wire would be your hot out, which would go to your switch or your volume pot. So that's how I wired them up. But when they're wired up that way, they're actually out of phase. Yeah, I'm not sure, who knows why that is, and if they're all like that, or if I just got lucky on this one here. I mean, it could be that these are just a mismatched set and they really weren't meant to be sold together as a set. It could be that the person winding them that day, they were just having a bad day and they wound one of them backwards. Who knows? But that is something I ran into. For me, it's really not a big deal. Not anything I'm going to do to address or fix. I have a phase switch on this guitar, like I said. So all this really means for me is my out of phase mod is when the phase switch is in the down position. So that is something to keep in mind if you ever, if you do decide to try these pickups. That may be something you may run into. Not a big deal if it happens. All you have to do is just switch the wires around on, just switch the wires around on one of the pickups. That'll reverse the phase on that pickup, and then they'll be in phase with each other, and it really doesn't affect how the pickup itself operates. So anyways, why don't I go ahead and give you some tones on this guitar. We'll start with the clean tones first, just because that's where you're going to notice the most difference. But I will give you some crunch tones and dirty tones, just so you can see what these pickups sound like with those also. For the tone demo, as always, I'm using my Orange Crush 35 RT. The crunch tones, I'm using, as always, my Music Lily Vintage Overdrive mini pedal. And then for the dirty tones, or the high gain stuff, we're just going to be using just the dirty channel on the amp. And then I am also running through a Behringer NR300 noise gate pedal, mainly just because to quiet down the hum. P90 pickups can be a bit noisy. You get a lot of 60 cycle hum, so that's the only reason for that. So anyways, so here we go. Let's start with the clean tones. Here's the bridge pickup. I really like this bridge pickup, how these pickups sound. They have that classic P90 tone, a little more bite than a humbucker, but not quite, not so ice picky, or not real ice picky like a single coil, a traditional single coil can get real ice picky. Best of both worlds, as I like to say. All right, so here's the middle position. I really like this middle position. I think these two pickups, when they're in phase, they sound great together. And that is in phase, by the way. And then here is the neck pickup. All right, so now let's move on to the crunch tones. Here is the bridge pickup. And then here is the middle position. And then here is here's the neck pickup. Alright, and then let's move on to the dirty tones, the high gain stuff. Alright, so here is the bridge pickup. Here's the middle position. And then here is the neck pickup. Alright, so yeah, those are the three basic tones on this guitar. And then one of the cool wiring mods I did on this guitar is the independent volume controls. So traditionally in the middle position, most guitars with this control layout, they're wired with what they call dependent or dependent volume control. Sometimes it's referred to as interactive volume control, but basically no matter which volume pot you use, it rolls down the volume for the whole guitar. With independent volume controls, they still will only operate the volume for their respective pickup. So if I hit a chord, so if I hit a chord, see, it only operates like, and I roll back the bridge volume, it only rolls off the volume for the bridge pickup, so it kind of acts like a blend knob. And then you just have, see, there's no change in the middle position of the neck pickup, see? And then you can also do that with the neck volume too. If I roll back the neck volume, then it basically just rolls off the volume for the neck pickup. See how that works. Except for in parallel mode or in series mode, they will still act like dependent volume controls. I mean, that's just how electricity works. You know, when they're in series with each other, you lower the signal for one, you're going to lower the signal to both. But anyways, and then another cool mod is of course the phase switch that we have here. So here's the two pickups in phase with each other. And then with the out of phase here. See how it gets kind of, you get that quacky, like out of phase, you know, that real thin nasally tone. That quacky Peter Green type sound. And then we also have the series parallel switch. So the series parallel switch actually works no matter which position you're in. When you engage the series parallel switch, basically it just puts both pickups in series with each other. So it doesn't matter if you're in the bridge or the neck or the middle. With the series parallel switch engaged, they're always just in series with each other. See here, so here's the two pickups in parallel, and then here's them in series. See how you get it basically gets a little bit louder, and then the tone does darken a little bit because they act in series. They kind of act almost like a humbucker, not quite. You still get kind of that two pickup tone, but it's just a little bit louder. And then you can also do out of phase in this position too, which is pretty cool. And then one other thing is the contour knob. So I was actually I know I mentioned that I put a different capacitor in this contour knob. I did a 0.001 microfarad capacitor as opposed to in my Kramer I put a 0.002 microfarad capacitor. I do like how this one works better. It is a little bit more noticeable. I'm not sure if it'll come through on the camera, but here. It still is, you know, quite subtle compared to you know, or it is still you know, quite subtle, but it is more noticeable. I don't know. Let's see, as you roll it back, see how it kind of thins the tone, and if you roll it up, the tone kind of fans a bit. See how it kind of thins out a bit as I roll it back, and then as I roll it up, it kind of fans up a bit. So here it is with it rolled all the way down, and then if I roll it up, see how it kind of fans a bit. Alright, so there you have it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these mods. If there was something different that you would have done, feel free to share that. Or if you have one of these guitars and you've modded it or plan on modding it, feel free to share what you plan on doing or what you've done to it. I will put links in the description to the wiring diagrams I used as reference in case you're interested in trying any of these mods out, these wiring mods yourself. And if you're interested in trying out these pickups, they're available on Temu. I'll put a link in the description for that. And then all the other parts I use though are they're just parts that are available on Amazon. You can find them pretty easily on Amazon. I like to use Musical.ly parts. I'm not affiliated with anybody. That's just what I like to use. And as always, thanks for watching.